Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Dealer On webinar, One Solution to Solve Your Dealership's 5 Biggest Challenges. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by Dealer On. And for anyone who isn't familiar with Dealer On, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency. We're best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the brand new Chameleon responsive website platform. And I'm thrilled to announce that Dealer On has been named again as a top-rated website provider in the 6th Annual Driving Sales Dealer Satisfaction Awards. We also won the Pinnacle Award from AWA. That's the highest award a website company can get. And for more information on who we are and what we do, hey, please check us out at our gorgeous brand new Dealer On website at dealeron.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have David Stringer as our presenter today. David Stringer is the president of Insignia Group, the leading provider of accessory sales systems and training services to dealerships, enabling them to establish and grow a successful accessories profit center. David is an entrepreneur, published writer, and well-respected professional in the automotive community for his expertise and insight on increasing front-end and fixed operations gross through vehicle personalization and accessory sales. He's an editorial contributor for our highly respected industry publications such as Fixed Ops Magazine, Digital Dealer Magazine, and Automotive Digital Marketing. He's always looking to help dealerships make more profits through accessory sales, and he can be reached at dstringer@insigniagroup.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to try and respond to you by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Ooh, and guess what? Our good friends at Insignia Group, they're giving away an incredible prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to be winning a 1-year subscription to Insignia's sales software used for presenting accessories to every customer. A webinar-based administrative training session and setup is also included. Now, let me just tell you, this is a fantastic prize for your dealership. It is valued at just under $3,000, but the real significance of this prize cannot be understated. Many dealerships who have this in their dealership, they average over $1 million in sales annually using the Insignia process and software. You are going to want this prize, but you have to be on the live broadcast to win it, so stay tuned, and you could be the one walking away with this tremendous prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey, so fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get started. Let's learn the one solution that's going to solve your dealership's 5 biggest challenges. David, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I am not in snow, which is, unfortunately for my kids, is pretty sad, but for the rest of us here, just south of Charlotte in Rock Hill, is nice that we could get to work this morning.
Well, I'm glad you're safe and you're warm right now. You're indoors. You're okay, right? You have electricity and heat.
I do indeed.
Okay, great. Well, I got to tell you, when I heard this title, I thought to myself, it's too good to be true. I mean, all dealerships have challenges, but your 5 biggest challenges can be solved with one thing can solve 5. So I'm very, very excited for this. I know our attendees are as well. So let's dive right into it because, like I said, too good to be true. I'm looking forward to seeing what this one solution is and how it does solve these challenges. So David, take it away. Tell everyone the kinds of things we're going to be learning about today.
Well, Eliana, thank you so much. And so what we hope to accomplish today is let's talk about those big challenges in dealerships. And then let's talk about a solution that Insignia has developed with all of our customers and best practices to address those big challenges that dealerships have today. We call it climbing the mountain. and then we'll take some questions and answers. So how's that sound?
I think that sounds great. That's right. Audience, we are going to have a very robust Q&A session today with you. So if you have a question for David Stringer, please don't hesitate to send it in. We will be holding most or all of those questions till the very end of the presentation. And if you feel like tweeting out some cool stuff that you hear today, well, we'd love that too. Please tag me in it, and David would like to get tagged in it too. I'm at Eliana Raggio, #DealerOnWebby. And then you can also tag at Insignia Group. We'd love to see what you're tweeting out. All right, David, take it away. Where do we get started?
Great. Well, let's get started, and let's talk about what keeps your dealer principal up at night. Insignia, as a quick little background, we've been in this marketplace of vehicle personalization and accessory sales since 2002. And we started off, our humble beginnings were really directed towards a catalog for dealerships to know what their OEM product portfolio looked like, what was available, at what cost, and show the customer. And during those formative years of Insignia, we thought that dealerships really could just take our software and run with it. They knew exactly what to do with it. They knew exactly how to sell accessories in their showroom. And that's where we really focused, was accessory sales in showrooms. We think that's the biggest opportunity for a car dealership, and as opposed to maybe selling online or selling on the service drive, really in the showroom you can drive the most value to your store. So we knew this, and we felt that we had a product that could be used in the store, and dealerships would just gravitate toward it, use it, and that would be that. And we would be a software company and cataloging company, and we would rock and roll. Well, we came to the conclusion a couple of years ago that, doggone it, dealers are great at selling cars. They're awesome at servicing cars. They sell parts, and they move them through their inventory quite well. But when it comes to merchandising accessories in their showroom, many just don't know how to do it. And we began to develop curriculum around our best practice dealers that took it and just inherently knew what to do, had fantastic people, great ideas, implemented those ideas, and we developed this curriculum to address really where vehicle personalization has the most impact. Yes, you can drive great sales, but it really it addresses those big challenges that keep your dealer principal up at night. So let's talk about some of those challenges. First off, again, based upon our success with many, many dealerships over many, many years of doing business and having deep relationships with lots of good companies out there, we developed our curriculum, our process. Much of the features of our system are based upon dealerships using our system, like the ones you see on the screen, and saying, this is awesome, and it needs to do this. And so we would make it do this. So thank you to all of our great top dealers that are out there. So first off, the number one challenge I think that any dealership would recognize is the battle for CSI scores. So this, much of your dealership profitability and your variable ops hinges on CSI scores. Much of what could be your allocations hinge on your CSI scores. More and more and more we see manufacturers becoming more and more stringent about good CSI scores, good customer experience. I mean, let's face it, the OEMs, and this goes across the board, and you can see this in their advertising, they are trying to reach the customer directly. And I'm not saying there's anything that's out of turn that's not being talked about in the industry. Many OEMs would love to go around dealerships and sell right to end user car sales. And the dealership, has to pay attention to those CSI scores so that they can create a great customer experience. Look at all of the other groups that are out there, the industry groups, the trade shows. 99% of what everyone's talking about is how do you generate leads, and then how do you turn those leads into great customer experiences. So that's number one. I think any dealership would have to recognize that number one on their list of challenges is maintaining good CSI scores, having a good reputation, and having a great customer experience. The second thing is, let's just talk about it, sales staff turnover. This industry is going through a ginormous change. Yes, that was an elf quote. A huge change in terms of the frontline sales talent that are in dealerships. Some folks are gravitating towards salespeople being order takers. Some are going back to more training, more experiential, trying to really help create a true car sales associate in the stores. So we have this big turnover rate. Every store that we go into, that's one of the #1 things that, hey, I'd love to sell more accessories, but I just have this revolving door in the sales department, so I can't, really teach somebody an accessories process because I don't know if they'll be here next month. Very true, and we we really have to address that. And that's, I think that's another number 2 in what keeps your dealer up at night. Looks like we got a poll question here, Eliana.
That's right. Audience, this is your first of 4 poll questions today. Please get involved. We'd love to know what's going on at your dealership and how it compares to other dealerships all across the country. Okay, the first question is on your screen now, and it's an easy one. What is your employer-employee CSI? Please select one of the following answers. Is it 10? Maybe it's 8 or 9. Is it 6 or 7? Is it 5 or below? Or would you rather not say? It's a pretty easy question, one we would love to know the answer to. So once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. Question again, what is your employer-employee CSI? Please select one of the following: 10, 8 or 9, 6 or 7, 5 or below, or you'd rather not say. And that's fine too. And audience, I want to thank you in advance for getting involved and voting in our poll questions. We really appreciate it. And we're going to close this poll in another few seconds. So thank you so much. And David, once I flip this back over to you, are we just going to talk about the CSI, or are you saying that this one solution is actually going to help improve CSI?
It's definitely going to help CSI, and we're going to talk about it as we go a little bit further and give some very detailed examples of stores that have seen their CSI increase because they employed a vehicle personalization process. So it absolutely addresses that #1 concern, which is customer experience, which relates to and significantly drives your CSI scores. So yes, a vehicle personalization process does address your CSI scores.
All right, well, let's get to it. We're going to close this poll and share the results. Audience, thank you so much for your votes. I really appreciate it. Well, from the top, 17% of today's audience said that their employer-employee CSI is 10. 17% said that. Can you believe that? Now, the majority, the overwhelming majority, more than half, 58%, said that theirs is more like 8 or 9. 13% of today's audience says it's 6 or 7, and then the remaining 13% said they would rather not say. David?
So great, very indicative of what we see out there. Your majority of the stores are at that 8-9 level, and there is significant benefit to a store to get to that 10 mark. It translates into bonuses, it translates into allocation, it translates into co-op dollars. I mean, it translates into so many huge financial benefits for the dealerships, and so that's most dealerships are right there. They're in 8-9, and they're trying to get to that 10 because there's a huge carrot to get to that 10 mark. 17% means that those folks at the top are employing good processes. They care about their customers. They're showing from the moment that customer comes on the lot that customer is very important and their experience is important. So I wouldn't be surprised if those 17% are Insignia customers.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are. All right, David, keep going.
Okay. So again, let's continue on with some of those other big challenges out there. I would say the third challenge is customer lifecycle and converting a car purchase, a car buyer, into a service customer. And many dealerships, I would say by and large, most dealerships overlook this very important step. And many of those stores that are at that 17% in that echelon of 10 don't ignore this, this step. This is a huge step in introducing early that car buyer to your service department and getting them comfortable with, hey, this is the place that you come back to service your vehicle. And we're going to talk about in a few minutes why a vehicle personalization process makes this so much better from a standpoint of turning a customer over to the service department from the showroom from the moment that they actually buy a car. The fourth is more and more F&I regulations are becoming more stringent. There is going to be more and more regulation on products that are sold in the business offices. So dealerships enjoy today a profit center in their business office that is unlike any other profit center in their dealership. The products that they sell in their F&I offices, the profit margins that they're able to attain from those products are unlike anywhere else in the store. And so I think all dealerships, all progressive dealers looking ahead, keeping up with the times, are seeing that there is a day that is going to come where those profit margins are going to get squeezed on some of these products. And so what do you do to replace that profit margin? What do you do to keep your profit, your overall profit for your store at a premium and at a level that if you're a dealer group, you've got to make a certain amount of profit part of the dealer group. If you're a dealer principal that owns 5, 6, 7, 8 stores, you want to have all those stores be profitable. So this is another place that we're going to see that tightening margins in the business office. Next is, and it's related to what we just talked about there, another issue is the educated customer. It's a big challenge for a dealership right now. It goes back to those salespeople. If I have a customer that knows exactly the car right down to the stock number because that's the car they found online, they know everything about it, I don't have to sell them on anything, do I need a professional salesperson? So we're seeing this, very difficult, change and metamorphosis in the store because of that educated car buyer. I think my next slide is very similar to that. Yep, the true car effect, the no haggling one price, all of these things are all of these factors are changing the way car buyers interact with stores and the car buying process in and of itself. So again, how do we address these problems? How do we go about really finding a solution that can help in all of these places? So I think we're ready on the verge of a next poll question here.
All right, David, thank you so much. All right, audience, this is your second of 4 poll questions, and it's on your screen now. We'd love it if you'd just check in with us and vote. The question is, what is your dealership's #1 challenge right now? What do you think it is? We've listed 5 of them. We'd love for you to pick one of these 5. It might not be one of these 5, but we think it might be. So please select one of the following. Would it be CSI, sales staff turnover, service conversions, F&I regulations, or low margins? We would love to know, what do you feel is currently your dealership's #1 challenge? CSI, sales staff turnover, service conversions, F&I regulations, or low margins? Once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. Now, David, I'm curious, Have you, I don't want to unduly influence the audience as they're voting, so don't tell me the answer, but have you asked this question before, maybe in a more, a public setting? Maybe you've done this kind of presentation before and you've asked by show of hands. I mean, is there one that usually sticks out above the rest?
Publicly, we had a couple of opportunities to talk about this in a larger group setting like this. On a case-by-case basis, though, this is part of our process, is to identify, as we are evaluating and qualifying a store to work with, this is one of our top questions. What is your biggest challenge here? What are you looking to accomplish with vehicle personalization? And here are the most common things that challenge you. And here's how we can address those things through vehicle personalization.
Right.
It goes to a realization that if we go into a store and we say, hey, we're here to talk to you about selling more accessories. A dealer principal picks up his phone and starts to glaze over and think about lunch. The fact of the matter is...
lunch!
yeah, right. I'm getting hungry. It's only 10:30. At most dealerships, selling more accessories is not a priority. So what we've had to do is, then what is a priority for you, Mr. Dealer, and how can our process and our services help you address that priority? So that's a lot of where this has come from, and it is very successful for us. Because, again, we see, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think you're going to be interested by the answers that we received from today's audience, and if you're ready, I'd love to show them.
Before you tell me, because I can't see it, I'm gonna take a chicken biscuit bet with you and say that CSI is definitely the #1 one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see. CSI was not the #1 one. I'm sorry, David.
Oh, I'm going to buy you a chicken biscuit.
I love it. Who doesn't love a chicken biscuit for free? Okay, well, but I will tell you this. 15% of today's audience said it was CSI. All right. That being said, 30% of today's audience said it was sales staff turnover. Another 15% said that their biggest problem is service conversions. Now, this is where I find it interesting. No one selected F&I regulations. And the majority, 41% of today's audience, said that their biggest problem by far is low margins.
Nice. Interesting. Very good. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's perfect. And we can, then we'll probably skip over F&I regulations because, again, that's something that we see in the future. But, hey, if nobody wants to talk about it, that's fine. And we will we'll move forward to address all of these. Low margins absolutely does not surprise me one bit, and that tells me that we have a lot of general managers, general sales managers in our audience today because they're tasked with making their department much more profitable. If we had sales, if we had more in the service camp, then we probably had more fixed operations folks on the phone today. But yeah, that's great. Awesome.
Thank you so much. All right, and audience, thank you so much. We're going to be coming back at you with 2 more poll questions, so stay tuned. And David, please take it away.
All right. So let's get into it. So what is vehicle personalization? Is it accessory sales? Sure. But vehicle personalization, we've defined it as a process in the showroom to offer those accessories during the vehicle purchase. We're real specific about what vehicle personalization is. Can you go online and sell a boatload of accessories online? Sure you can. And you will do so at very low margins. Can you sell accessories in your service drive? Sure you can. Offering accessories to service customers is a great way to achieve your OE number. It's a great way to drive up your per new vehicle that most OEMs will track for you. So yes, those are all great avenues to explore in terms of selling accessories. But the real bang for the buck for selling accessories is to create a process in your showroom that offers accessories, offers personalization to your vehicle buyers. So let's talk about that CSI thing first. We've got great testimonials here, and these are actual testimonials from actual car buyers through one of our top dealerships, the top dealership that employs our process, Toyota of Braintree. Bill DeTellis, I'll give him a shout out. He might be online with us today. He is a magician when it comes to taking a customer. They've just bought a Camry, and he walks them through this great process where he turns them into a service customer, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And then he also offers them, a variety of different things for their vehicle, and helps them to personalize that vehicle and make it their own. A lot of times, we are so consumer-oriented at this point in our lives. The examples of customization and personalization are just out there, and they are just as close as your phone or your desktop on your PC or your Mac or your iPad. Personalization is what we expect as a consumer these days. And if you go in to buy, the stock Altima or the stock Camry or the stock Tacoma, you are a minority out there. Most people want to personalize their vehicles. So giving the customer an experience to personalize their vehicle during the car buying process is one of those things that keeps the customer into the buying process. One of the poll questions, and I'm going to switch it to show another testimonial here, but one of the poll questions ought to have been, what is your customer doing? And you can answer this yourself. What is your customer doing once they sign the deal to buy a car and wait to the business office? The majority of responses would have been watching Oprah, wandering around the showroom, looking at some, dusty brochure that they picked up on a rack somewhere. What they're not doing is they're not continuing to invest in their vehicle, invest in their purchase. So the perception of time gets really long. What's the number one nick on CSI scores? F&I wait time. You don't even have to say it. This is what we know. This is what we've seen, and this is how vehicle personalization can address that. If you get a customer who has spent an hour and a half to purchase a vehicle and give them nothing to do for 20 minutes, how irritated and agitated are they going to be? Even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's 7 minutes, even if you have a process where you have the salesperson who's trained in all the way through F&I and takes them all the way through the process, you're still going to find these times of lag, of these times of waiting, these times of not doing anything, which stretches the perception of time. Do an experiment yourself. Take your cell phone. The next time you go into a dentist's office and have to wait in the dentist's office or a doctor's office, or you're waiting in line somewhere, and shove your phone in your pocket and don't touch it. And then see how long it takes and how long that time feels. It feels like forever. Don't pick up a magazine. Don't do anything. Just sit there and wait. The perception of time grows. Now take out your phone the next time and play Candy Crush or check Facebook or write an email back to the office. The perception of time goes away very quickly, and it's like, oh, I wasn't sitting here very long. You probably were sitting there the same amount of time, but you were doing something. That's the point of vehicle personalization. Introduce the customer to something that allows them to continue to invest in their vehicle. It will take away that perception of time. It will create a better experience. What's the number one thing that your salesperson wants to do once they sell a car to a customer? Another poll question. The answer could be smoke a cigarette. The other answer could be get the heck away from the customer, okay? So those are the top two, and we get that all the time. Of course, I'm, joking about smoking a cigarette. We have a lot of e-cigarettes out there now. It's, much more healthy, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But the point is that a salesperson wants to get away from the customer. Why? Because they don't want them to change their mind. They've got a car deal. They got to get them into the business office and get it closed, okay? So this is the perfect opportunity to improve your customer experience. It can be improved a number of different ways. So here's your pen and paper. With a vehicle personalization process, you can have an area where you can take your customer, move them from the sales desk that they were at, the sales person's desk, move them, get them up, walk them around, take them and sit them down at a vehicle personalization center or an accessories desk. Give them an iPad. Let them, again, move them to the service lounge. Sometimes in smaller stores, the service lounge and the sales lounge are kind of one and the same. We see that in Subaru stores and VW stores. So take them to that area and give them an iPad to see what's available for their vehicle. So these are ways that you can create this perception of, hey, here's something else to do, and we can finalize anything that you're looking for in the business office when we finalize your paperwork. All right? So let's move on to the turnover of salespeople. This was 30%, so this is the second highest. And not only can you read the quote here from Scott Asher at Fitzgerald, but also I had a general manager at a Spitzer store in Cleveland tell me that he would rather bulldoze his entire store and rebuild it from scratch than train one more salesperson. I want you to understand what he said. He would rather bulldoze his entire store, rebuild it from scratch, than train one more salesperson. He said, it's my biggest expense is training salespeople. And why? It's because he has people going in and out, in and out, in and out. So retaining those good salespeople is so important to him. Well, what are salespeople operated on? I mean, if I go sell cars, what do I want to do? I want to make money, period. End of story. Yes, I'd like to have a nice place to work. Yes, I'd like to have health insurance. But doggone it, I want to make some money. So it's tough making money today selling cars. It's not what it used to be. There are some guys that are out there, gals that are out there that can still pull six figures selling cars. By and large, that is the rarity today. Most folks can make between $50,000 to $70,000 selling cars. Well, here's a way, giving your salesperson another way to make income, selling accessories, selling vehicle personalization is a way to pay those salespeople more out of every car deal, because we help you structure a way that everybody gets paid, all the departments share in it, and you pay that salesperson and make them, give them more money. We've got lots of case studies here on this particular subject. We're fast becoming experts in the models to create good pay programs with stores, because we're doing it more and more and more and helping more and more stores find really good pay plans. One fun thing to do is many stores will have where they pay their accessory sales every sales meeting, every Saturday or every Monday morning. Whenever they have their sales meeting, that's when they hand out the checks, sometimes cash. But most of the time they're handing out the accessory sales, and a lot of times folks will make more on selling the accessories. If set up properly, they'll make more on selling the accessories than they made on the car sale. So let's talk about first service turns, which again was a 15% response. And we'll kind of skip over this one and the F&I regulations to get to the meat of the low margin. But think about it. If I can help introduce my customer to the service department with something that's cool, rather than introduce them to talk about when something goes wrong, don't you think the customer's going to have a different idea of what the service department's all about? So, Mr. Customer, come with me. I'm going to introduce you to Joe. He's going to make sure that your remote start, your spoiler, your DVD headrest system, your whatever you've ordered to personalize your vehicle is installed properly, works properly, looks awesome, and Joe's going to take care of you. And Joe takes care of that customer and makes the service experience something that's fun. Wow, I got my bike rack installed. I'm so excited. I get to go ride this weekend. rather than introduce your service department when something goes wrong. I got a warranty item, something's not right with the car, so on and so forth. How much different is that customer going to feel about Joe? And when something does go wrong, guess what? I'm going to think about Joe. Joe really took care of me when I bought the vehicle, 6 months ago, a year ago. I'm going to go in there and get done what I need to get done. I'm going to come back for my first oil change. So when you come back for the first oil change, many service departments spend lots of time and lots of effort in creating a really great experience when you drive into that service lane. I mean, think about it. In most cases, you drive into this controlled environment. It might be snowing or raining or cats and dogs, and you get to drive into this really nice place. You get out of your car. You're not wet. They put, paper in the floorboard. They make sure that everything is pristine and great on that service appointment. Why? Because your dealership makes most of its money in parts and service. So they need that customer who just bought a car 3 months ago. They need that customer to come back and buy and do an oil change and get a great experience so that they'll come back and do their warranty work, and they'll come back and do some of their other work. And if they hold on to the car longer, most people rotate their cars out, but a lot of the cars are lasting longer, and people are keeping them longer. You want that customer coming in to do that service work. So vehicle personalization creates that process that allows the customer to really experience a different experience, a fun experience in your service department rather than, oh, something went wrong, I guess I got to go back to the dealership. Ooh, we're at another poll question.
All right, audience, your third of 4 poll questions is on the screen now. We'd love it if you'd participate. Thank you so much in advance. And the question is, how would you rate your first service conversion? Please select one of the following. Now, when we say first service conversion, we're talking about a customer who comes in and they bought a car, and then how did you get them to come back to your service department? I think you guys all know that, but please select one of the following. Is it less than 25%, and that's by following a standard process, and they are scheduled? Is it 26 to 50%, 51 to 75%, 76 to 100%, or you're not sure how you'd rate your first service conversion? How many first service conversions are you currently getting at your dealership? Is it less than 25%, 25 to 50%, 51 to 75%, 76 to 100%, or you're just not sure? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. I'm still waiting for some more votes. They're still coming in. Audience, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for getting involved. And is there, David, don't give the answer, but did you guys do some research on this? Do you have like a national average of what the average dealership does on converting their sales into service?
Yeah, thanks. We did not do research, but there is plenty of research out there that we have utilized, particularly from NADA. They do a pretty good job with their surveys on this topic. And believe it or not, the aftermarket does a tremendous amount of research on this. That is the aftermarket repair industry, because they're also looking for that business. Their goal is to have you come buy your car, maybe get the warranty done at your dealership, but then come to them for your standard repair. And there's always been a classic battle between dealer and aftermarket repair facility in terms of winning that customer. So there's lots of information out there, and the typical is
no, don't say it.
Oh yeah.
All right, audience, thank you so much for your votes. Let's close this poll and let's see what everyone else said. All right. Okay, let's go in order. So the top one was 14% of today's audience answered that less than 25% of their customers convert to a service customer. 18% of today's audience says it's somewhere between 26 to 50%. Now, 23%, so almost a quarter of today's audience, said they're doing pretty good. They're sitting at 51 to 75% for their first service conversion. Only 14% of today's audience said that they're really, really high up, between 76% and 100%. But the majority of today's audience, 32%, so almost a third of today's audience, said they were uncertain to know what their first service conversion rate was. Now, does that surprise you? Is that
No,
something?
not at all.
Is that something that a lot of
Again,
dealerships just aren't following?
I would say by and large, it's probably two-thirds of the dealerships out there don't pay attention to that. I think it's a pretty big amount of dealerships that don't pay attention to converting those customers over to the service market. So no, that doesn't surprise me that 32% were unaware, and it underscores that we might have more sales folks involved in our today's discussion than fixed operations. I think the answers from your fixed ops groups are falling into those camps that know, and it's typically not something that a sales group really focuses in on unless the dealership management is saying, okay, we need to do more of this, and you've got a really good relationship going on with between sales and service, and you create this process. There are a number of companies that are out there that are really focused in on this process, specific to this process. Our partners at Autoloop are very focused in on converting, and they're actually a partnering company with Braintree, Toyota Braintree, that manages that process of getting that customer in for that first service appointment. So we coupled together two processes to really offer the vehicle personalization and then make sure that we convert that customer over to a first service appointment. So Toyota Braintree does a great job with that whole process. And in fact, just to kind of give them as another example of a superstar dealership, when we began working with Toyota Braintree, and this is way back in 2011, the fixed ops director let me know that I won't say specifically what he told me in terms of where they ranked in first service appointments and CSI. He said, but it was less than desirable. And once they really incorporated this process, and once they really honed in on converting their car buyers into first service appointment service customers, they went from where they were, less than desirable, let's say, to number one in the region. And then they also climbed CSI and took it from where they were very high. Again, I don't know where they are today, but I'm sure it's still very, very high of their CSI scores. But they moved the needle, suffice it to say, in both regional metrics in their region up in the Northeast because of this process. And they will readily tell you it was because of this process and the efforts that they went through to really make it a great process. I mean, they've done a lot of work in their showroom and in general working together between the showroom and the fixed operations group to make that happen. And it's a good example and a testament to putting this process in place and the benefits that come from it.
I agree. Okay, I know you still have a lot more stuff to get to, so let's get right to it.
Yeah, so again, talking about that first service conversion and how to make that happen, we another case study here is a dealership that's right up the road from us just south of Charlotte, State Line Chrysler Dodge Jeep. They took a person from their parts department and fixed operations department and employed him in the showroom as an accessories manager, and they have more than doubled their accessory sales through this process. And what they did is they're using a piece of our system as an electronic WIOS, a way to manage the process all the way through. So whereas in the past we were, a good point of sale cataloging company, we've now really made the back of our system very robust from an order management and a WEO management process. So a WEO, every store has a WEO. This is could be a due bill. We know it as a WEO, but it's that piece of paper that's a 3-carbon, copied piece of paper that a salesperson writes so neatly the name of the customer, and they write so neatly and amazing hand penmanship exactly what the customer needs, whether it's a full tank of gas or maybe pinstripes or whatever it might be. And I'm being facetious when I say so neatly, because all salespeople write with incredible hand penmanship. And then nobody ever loses those WEOs. Of course, they are amazingly persistent when it comes to never getting lost, never dropping out of the deal jacket, never getting not getting delivered back to the fixed operation. Again, all of that is facetious, so I can hear you laughing, even though you're all on mute. And what we've done is we've incorporated that into the overall vehicle personalization process. So a WEO is part of personalizing the experience, part of personalizing that vehicle. So we've incorporated that all together. And State Line's a great example of that. And what that does is, again, it helps in that conversion of that service customer to bring them to the service department for something that's cool rather than something that's broken. So we're going to skip over the F&I department because there was zero interest in that, right? So let's, again, talk about the low margins. We've been, I'm just so used to it. I see it all over the industry. We just get nailed over the head with all of these SEMA numbers. There's no denying that there is a market for vehicle personalization. We can't deny it. It's a $33 billion industry, and we've done our own back-of-the-napkin kind of configuration based on what we know. And we think that there's probably another $4 to $8 billion that's not attributed in the SEMA numbers that are OE numbers, that are Toyota accessories or Subaru accessories or VW accessories. They're not captured in those SEMA numbers. So we think that the actual industry size is a lot bigger even than SEMA reports. And the dealer segment of that is probably anywhere, again, based on what we know, based on what we see, the dealer segment, really where dealerships thrive, is about a $4 to $8 billion segment of that, say, $33 to $42 billion segment. So dealerships have a 100% opportunity to capture a very big market that's coming into their store. They've got the first opportunity to sell a car with leather in it. They've got the first opportunity to put a navigation in a car that doesn't have navigation, or DVD headrest. They have the first opportunity in 16 million car sales to sell something additional. Again, there's port, there's all kinds of different nuances to this business that, obviously it's a situation where we have to look at every dealership and look at what brand they are, where they're located, how big they are, how many cars they sell, all of those kinds of things. But by and large, you have 100% of the opportunity to add gross to the hood of the car by offering vehicle personalization. And there's lots of statistics out there that can support the idea that that money is out there. You're just not asking for it. You just don't have a process to capture it. So low margins is a major issue, because selling a car these days is so competitive. Going back to what we were talking about the educated car buyer, when a customer actually does come onto the lot, I think the statistics out there now is that 75 to 90% of them started their search online. So they've searched your website, they've searched cars.com, they've searched Auto Trader, they've searched TrueCar. I mean, that's the TrueCar effect is something that a lot of car dealers talk to me about. when I'm in a store is what what that effect is. So there is this very large pool of money that you actually have 100% opportunity to go after to put on the hood of your car, and what do you need to do to do that? Well, you need to employ a process that allows the customer to shop for accessories, to decide to personalize their vehicle. These people are already coming in with the desire to add something to their vehicle that's never going to come up during the car buying process. When your salesperson is working a deal, I'm the customer, I've got a certain amount of money set aside that I'm not going to make part of my down payment because you know what, I want to do the DVD headrest systems for for my SUV, or I want those chrome tube steps for my truck, or I want something that I'm going to add to that vehicle, whether it's something as easy as a bike rack or something maybe I don't even know I want, which is something, protection packages stuff like body side molding and vent visors and a clear bra and tinted windows. These are things that I know I want to do. I just didn't know I could do it at the store. I just didn't know that I could do it while I bought the car as well. So, we focus in on helping dealerships really grab parts of that whole industry. On the screen here is just a little bit of some metrics about Insignia and what we've done in 2014. And we looked at all of these numbers are going to continue to grow. We had a great year in 2013. We had a pretty good bump in the throughput through the system. And then we see that 2015, we're tracking at even greater numbers. So what we're showing ourselves and what we're showing our dealerships, those dealers that capture, that go after this business, what we're showing is that this money can be attained and it can be put on the hood of the car. Again, some more stats about our 2014 performance. Our top dealer, again, gives a shout out to Braintree. They did $1.8 million in their showroom. Now, I really want to stress that that's the showroom. That's not e-commerce. That's not on the service drive. That's not all combined. That's just in the showroom. And what that tells you is on the number of cars that they sell per month, which I'm not going to broadcast internationally here, that is a huge number based upon the number of cars that they're selling every month. And that is what's possible. Our top 20 dealers in our system that use our process all the way through did $12 million through our system, $12 million in sales. Our top 100 did $23 million in sales. Again, we've got some really good case studies from 2014. I want to underscore Brown Automotive there a little bit because they're in Charlottesville, Virginia. They have a point that has 3 showrooms, Subaru, Honda, and a Chrysler. And we help them get rid of their paper-based WIO system. They use our system completely for their vehicle personalization and their WIOs. And the gal in the Subaru store, she was in one of the training classes, and I just happened to be doing this training myself. Her eyes got huge when she realized that her paper-based WIO system that she had meticulously created out of thin air to manage this very difficult process of these papers coming from the showroom and calling the customer and getting them in and closing them out. She had this very elaborate notebook system where she would literally move these pages from notebook to notebook to notebook. And when she saw that that was all going to go away, her eyes got huge and she said, why are you messing up my day? I mean, she was angry, literally angry.
Wait, she didn't like change, or? She
didn't like change. She did it, oh my gosh, I was messing with her system. I mean, and, God bless her, she had to, work with a very difficult thing to do, and she had figured out. She had figured out a way to manage this process so it worked for her and she could keep her customers happy. Well, I was totally throwing that out the window and upending her world and putting it all online for her through this process. Well, she was very skeptical. She took the training. She was a champ about it, a true pro. Her management had decided to go in this direction, so she had no choice. She was going in that direction. She was going to embrace it. When we came back to do the follow-up training about 30 days afterwards, I went to her first because I wanted to just see what her reaction was. And I actually just kind of peered into her office and sort of did one of those cutesy smiles to go, oh gosh, I hope you're not going to throw something at me. She goes, I love this system. And she said, when you left the store, our WEOs doubled. And she said, and so did our accessory sales. And she said, and it's been so easy to manage, I cannot believe it. Thank you. And it was like, oh, that made my day. It made my year. That was the best thing that I heard in 2014. So, so again, those big challenges, the reason to get into vehicle personalization is to address these challenges. These are what keep your dealer up at night. This is why your dealership is in business. This is how they make their, by and large, their money. CSI, getting those, keeping good salespeople. You can sell more with good salespeople. Service conversions is huge. F&I regulations, we'll skip over that. You'll thank me later that I told you about it now. And then again, low margins. Make more money on every vehicle that comes through your sales. So let's talk a little bit about how we climb this mountain. So we talked all about how a vehicle personalization process can address these problems. So what we get now is, okay, great, address the problems. Let's do it. What do we need to do? And here are some key takeaways, and I think you can all take these away. This is all part of our overall training process. And I'll highlight some just with timing. The second one down is getting good at selling one, or what we call also lead product selling. And what this is taking a product like window tints or body side molding, or for Toyota Braintree, it's remote starts. But it's taking one product and making that the product that you offer to every single vehicle that is sold. Okay? And what that does is that allows the salesperson not to know how to sell accessories. That's one thing that we hear a lot. Listen, my salespeople have a hard enough time selling cars. I don't need to teach them how to sell accessories. And our response is, good. We don't want them selling accessories. We want the customer to buy on their own. We want them to sell themselves on what they need because they have that money set aside. Now, one way to get into that is to have the salesperson have loaded up, ready to go, just one product. So it works something like this. Eliana, I'm so glad that you chose to buy a Stringer Toyota today. I really hope you love your Camry. One of the things that we do here at Stringer Toyota is we offer window tint on all vehicles that we sell. It's $250 installed. We can do it today, and we can build that into your financing so that you pay less than $1 in your financing to add that to your vehicle. Would you like to do that today?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you going in our process, and then we have a whole lot of other items that you may be interested in to personalize your vehicle. So let me start that process. Okay, that was pretty easy, right?
Painless.
I mean, I think anybody could sell it that way. Now, pretend for a second that you said no. Well, then I get to say, that's no problem. We also have a great portfolio of products that you may also be interested in. So it doesn't matter which way you go, whether you say yes to the tent or no to the tent, we are going to help you see that we offer more than just that. And it's a very easy, streamlined way to get a salesperson to be comfortable with offering accessories. A lot of salespeople don't want to get into it because, God, I got to know everything. I got to know, what it costs, how much to get it installed, and all that stuff. We eliminate all those problems, but then we also eliminate that barrier by using a lead product sale we just eliminate that barrier to, I don't know, I don't really know how to get into the conversation. Well, it's very easy to get into the conversation.
I got to say, David, my answer, if I was actually shopping, I would have said no until you said the part about the financing and how it would only be $1 or less added to my payment. And then I was like, oh, well, all right then. Now I'm thinking, hey, can I put a remote start on there? All kinds of stuff.
Well, there you go. So we teach salespeople how to use those benefits that a dealership has: financing, warranty, fit and finish right here, and convenience. We help the dealership see that on that 100% of the opportunity, you've got 4 major tools in your toolbox to close that sale, and financing is a great one. And most people can finance in the window tint, or say the body side molding, or even the remote start. If you're selling a remote start for $500, that's going to add about $10 to your payment. So for every $1,000 you finance, it's about $20 a month. So you can kind of break that down pretty easily. And if you got a $500 remote start, you're going to $10 a month. So again, these are the techniques to make it comfortable for the salesperson to offer the accessories process. And there you go. Number 5 is leveraging word tracks to sell value. That's a word track right there about the finance to sell the value of vehicle personalization. Talk a little bit about the pricing and how the pricing is built up. Again, we spend time with the dealership to come up with the right pricing. A lot of times they'll price themselves out of the market, not needing to. But this is sometimes the first time that parts, service, and sales have to get together and work together for a common good. And what we do is we work with them to show them that it doesn't matter what they sell, it doesn't matter who they sell it from, whether it's an OE or if it's an aftermarket product, there is a way to structure the pricing and the margin so that every department takes away a little bit, and you can pay your salesperson or accessory manager a healthy commission on those products, and everybody wins. So that's a big part of this, is really focusing in on making sure that your pricing is in line with your market, that your pricing is in line with making sure that every department wins out of this process. Again, these are high points that going through each one, at a later date, you pretty much sells itself. All right, I think we're at another poll question.
All right, last poll question, audience. We just want to know which of the information that was presented to you today helped you the most. Pretty simple question. Just tell us, which one was it? Please select one of the following answers. Was it when David discussed the top 5 challenges? Was it when he discussed how personalization is more than just a margin replacement? How about when David talked about the guidelines to vehicle personalization success? Or was it when the compensation is built upon pricing? Once we get a majority of these votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. We're just curious which information today helped you the most. And also, if you haven't written in your question yet for David, if you have a question for him, please send it on in. We'd love to know what's going on over there at your dealership, and if David might be able to help you out and sway you one way or the other, or if you have any reservations about, what he does with vehicle personalization, or just even, how to integrate it into your dealership if it's not something you're already doing. So we're going to get to those questions very shortly. And also, great prize coming up. Great prize giveaway. So I hope you guys are paying attention. It's not a very easy question. I don't think it's a very easy question. But somebody's going to win it today, and I'm very excited about that. Okay. So thank you, audience, for voting. I think we'll give you another few seconds, and then we'll close this poll and then share the results. And David, you're taking a swig of water. I know, because you've been talking a lot, so I hope you took a swig of water.
I did. I put you on mute.
Okay. All right, let's see what's happening here, okay? Let's close this poll and share the results. All right, so 36% of today's audience said that they got the most out of the top 5 challenge discussion. Another 36% of today's audience said they enjoyed your talk on how personalization is more than a margin replacement. And 27% of today's audience said that they enjoyed your guidelines to vehicle personalization success. No one answered the last one, which was compensation being built upon pricing. All right. Does that help you out, David?
Yeah, great.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm back to your screen. What do we have after this?
Just to close, and one of our newest partners and companies we're working with is Eastman Chemical and Lumar. We've got an exciting an announcement about a project we're working on with Lumar in the coming months. So look forward to that. But we've had just a great opportunity to work with them in the field and also on a corporate level. And this is a great product. Obviously, one of the top Windows 10 film producers out there globally, and we just really enjoyed working with them, and I think their quote speaks to how they enjoy working with us. So if you're thinking about Windows 10, I'll give a plug for our friends at Lumar. Talk to us about Lumar and how they can help you create more opportunities for those lead sales using Lumar Window Film. All right. Questions?
Questions from the audience. All right, audience.
This is where I have to scare the audience, right? And I'm supposed to turn on my webcam.
I don't know if you're going to scare the audience, but I'll tell you what. You don't even have to turn on your webcam just yet. We're going to give away that prize first, all right? So, audience,
right.
If you haven't done so yet, please write your question in. We'd love to know what, if anything, we could help you with. And, David, why don't you go to the next slide where we talk about this prize. My goodness. If you missed what I told you about it in the beginning of the webinar, well, I'm going to do it again for you because our good friends at Insignia Group, they're giving away an awesome prize today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to be winning a 1-year subscription to Insignia's sales software used for presenting accessories to every customer, and a webinar-based administrative training session, and the setup is already included in this prize. Fantastic prize for your dealership. It's valued at just under $3,000, but like I said before, the real significance of this prize cannot be understated. Many of their dealership clients average over $1 million in sales annually using the Insignia process and software. Can I just say, wow. So get ready, get to your keyboards. First person to write in the correct response is going to be winning this awesome prize today. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. Of course, if there's any vendors that are on the call, please, we beg of you, please sit this one out. This prize is intended for dealership personnel only. We thank you in advance. And this is not an easy question, but I am going to give you a hint, all right? So here's your question. Good luck, everyone. Management buy-in plus software plus what guarantees the best opportunity for vehicle personalization success in the showroom? Your hint is that we're looking for a 3-word answer. It's a 3-word answer. Management buy-in plus software plus what guarantees the best opportunity for vehicle personalization success in the showroom? Ooh, not yet. You can guess more than once, by the way. Sales, no, that's not it. Keep guessing, everyone. Oh my goodness, this is a hard question. No one got it right yet. No one's getting it right. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. Management buy-in plus software plus one more thing is going to guarantee the best opportunity for vehicle personalization success in the showroom. Let's see. Nope. Wow, no one's gotten it yet. David, what do we do?
Holy cow. Well, how about we give a hint?
No, it's not sharks with lasers.
Wait, Hey, that one's got to win. Right,
Is that one the winner?
I love that.
It's not the winner.
Well, you've got to have
wait, here's my hint.
You've got to have a system, and then you've got to have a.
Wait. Just so you know, in David's takeaways, it was the last thing in David's takeaways. Although he said it 3 times, and what we're looking for was one phrase. But still, if you wrote down any of his takeaways, it was the last takeaway.
The word that sounds like a locomotive.
Well, we finally got somebody who wrote in training. Yay!
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, now everyone's getting it. Oh, thanks, everyone. All right,
gave it away, the locomotive?
I know. Yes, the locomotive gave it away. All right, well, guess what? The answer we were actually looking for was sales process training, but I will take training, and the first person who wrote that in was Marvin Wyndham. Marvin Wyndham, you are our winner today. Thank you so much. Oh, let me write your name down. And Marvin, while you're at it and you're high-fiving all your peeps at your dealership, why don't you write on in and let me know what dealership you are from so I can give you a proper congratulations. We do appreciate everyone. Oh, look, you wrote in, yeah. All right, cool. But where are you from, baby? So write that in. And audience, thank you so much for playing along. We always, of course, appreciate you playing along and trying to win these prizes every week. Let's see. Today's winner, Marvin, is from Benchmark Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Birmingham, Alabama. Congratulations, Marvin and Benchmark CDJR. You are a winner today.
I believe that's the same Marvin that is a Mopar Master, so thank you, Marvin.
All right, cool. That is awesome. You just won yourself a great prize for your dealership. Congratulations. You just let your dealer principal know. Oh, he says, thank you. I am a Mopar Master. Good job, Marvin. Let your dealer principal know you just scored him practically $1 million in profit in the next year by winning this prize. So if that doesn't score you at least a free lunch, I don't know what does. Of course, we want to thank our good friends at Insignia Group for their incredible generosity. And we're ready to get started on questions, David, if you are.
Yes. Absolutely. Fire away.
Fantastic. Okay, let's go to that next slide. Turn on your webcam. Let people see your shining face. There you are. Okay, and audience, like I said, if you haven't gotten your question in, now's a great time to do so. All right, we only have a handful of questions here. So if you're ready, here we go. Your first question comes to you from Elmer. Elmer says, does personalization also apply to used cars? Good question, Elmer. David?
Yeah, Elmer, thank you. That is a great question. And yes, absolutely. You can definitely incorporate the same process that you would normally incorporate with your new cars with your used cars. Now, typically in used cars, you're going to be looking for things like maybe it has cloth seats, you want to do leather seats. Protection packages are great for pre-owned cars. Typically, there's a lot of margin in your pre-owned cars, and most pre-owned managers don't want to put a whole lot more into the car in terms of actually buying things to put on the car. So you really have to have the right management mentality to go after that market, but it's definitely a market that is a great opportunity for a store. So that's a great question, and yes, we have a number of our stores that go all the way in terms of new to used and offering vehicle personalization. So yes, great way to grow your sales, absolutely.
I love it, I love it. Okay, thank you so much, Elmer. Elmer already wrote in a follow-up question for us. We'll be getting to that in just a moment. Your next question comes to you from Sid. Sid says, what process does Insignia go through to get buy-in from management and employees? Oh, I could see this being a big thing. How do you get management and employees to, I mean, because this affects like every department in a dealership, right?
It sure does. It is one of the most challenging aspects of vehicle personalization because it does affect every department in the store. If you're going to sell accessories in your showroom, then you need parts involved, you need service involved, and you need management buy-in all the way at the top, because you have to have all three of these departments working together. And we go through a process of really evaluating where the dealership is coming from. We call it either climbing the mountain or you just want a catalog. So we go through a process to qualify the store, ask them questions about where's your CSI, how are you doing with retaining good salespeople. So we go through that process of asking those same questions about their big dealership challenges. We look to see if they're addressing those challenges. Some dealerships are happy doing what they're doing. Most dealerships, though, are really looking for solutions to go after those big challenges, and then that's when we show the benefits and the value of incorporating the vehicle personalization process to meet those challenges. So it's about our qualifying process with regards to those big dealership challenges. Good question, Sid.
Great question. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get through these last, because we are definitely over time. We only have a few more questions here. Your next question, David, comes from today's winner, Marvin. He says, David, do you always schedule a follow-up in 30 days to make sure the process is being followed? It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, great question. Marvin, what we do is that we have several different training packages that are in tune to the dealership management and the overall environment that you're working in. So we do a boot camp. We do a monthly guided where we will be there every month. And then we do a 3-day immersive. And we've had great success with the 3-day immersive where we're actually there for 3 intense days. And on the 3rd day, we're actually sitting with your accessory manager, your salespeople, and we're working the process with them, actually right in front of customers, working the process. Our typical sales package, our typical training package is the guided. We're able to be there on a monthly basis, and we pair you up with what we call a vehicle personalization expert that works your market, works your territory. So yes, when we launch a dealership, when we're going through those initial stages, we do a systems training, we do then a survey, and then we do a management preview call. All of those are remote based, phone-based trainings. And then once the store is prepped and ready to go and ready for us to be there in person, then we send a person to spend a day, maybe a day and a half, depending on how large your store is. If it's a big store, sometimes we'll send 2 vehicle personalization experts to really help the store. And then, yes, between 30 and 45 days, we'll do a follow-up, whether it's a boot camp or whether it's a guided. We're going to come back and do a follow-up. Most of the time, that's in person. Some of the times, just depending on travel and depending on the situation, we'll do that over the phone. But we're constantly looking at the stats. Part of how we are where we are is because we have a great method of collecting analytics and reviewing those analytics often. And as part of our weekly process internally within Insignia is to review our analytics, see where we are, see where our top dealerships are, see where our bottom dealerships are, and how can we help improve their process. So great question, and the answer, long-winded, is yes.
Thank you so much, Marvin. Looking forward to seeing how Insignia Group is going to help your dealership. Okay, your next question. Oh, he already wrote in thanks, by the way. Next question is a follow-up question from Elmer. Elmer says, is it getting harder to sell personalization now that the OEMs are offering so many different accessories themselves? David, have you seen anything like that?
Elmer, I think it's actually getting easier, and not knowing anything about your store or where you're located or the size of the store, there's no doubt that most OEMs are looking to supply their dealerships with accessories through a better portfolio of accessory options. A lot of OEMs are doing what we call port or factory or mod center additions to those vehicles before they even reach the lot. So that's very common, and that's a common response from most of the OEMs because ultimately everybody's got a sales number to hit. So that's the OEM's response. Look, we need to be selling X amount of accessories a year, so we're going to put them on at the vehicle level, at the production level, and we're going to ship them to the store, and the dealership really doesn't have any say-so in that. So that's a common practice, and it's a way of life, and it is what it is. And they have a sales number to meet, you have a sales number to meet, and that's something that's going to be done. Most of the time, though, what we see is that most of the time those port accessories or those production accessories or mod accessories are really a fraction of your total inventory. So the OEM is still leaving plenty of opportunity on the table. Usually between 70 and 60% of your vehicles are going to come to your lot with some very few things on them or even nothing on them. And then you're going to have that 20 to 30 to 40% that's going to come with something on it. Some OEMs are pretty heavy. Some OEMs are very light. So I don't think that that's in any way going to take away from your opportunity to offer vehicle personalization. And in fact, most of the OEMs are doing a great job of expanding their portfolios and giving you more options so that you have more options OEM-wise to sell accessories. So what we've seen historically is a car dealer wants to sell products that are coming from their brand. So if I'm a Honda store, I want to sell Honda accessories. If I'm a Toyota store, I want to sell Toyota accessories. It's got my logo on it. It's got my brand on it. It goes with the vehicle. There's the manufacturer warranty. There's all these good reasons to sell OEM accessories. And when the OEM has spots in their portfolio, most common is leather insulation, window tint. Sometimes some electronics are opportunities that are just gaps in the portfolio for whatever reason the OEM doesn't want to offer that particular product. That's where definitely the aftermarket comes into play. And you can augment your portfolio, make it a complete portfolio. Wheels, leather, sunroof, some electronics are by and large the typical aftermarket products that we see coming into stores. So as the OEMs deepen their portfolio or widen their portfolio, that's not going to take away any opportunity. It's actually going to increase your opportunity to sell more to your customers.
Thank you so much. All right, David, we do have two last questions, and Elmer already wrote in, great, gotcha, thank you. We have two last questions, so let's try and get through them as quickly as possible because we're way, way, way over time, okay? Your next question comes to you from Mike, and this might be maybe too much for a short answer, but see what you can do with it. He says, could you briefly touch on F&I regs? See, there is somebody who wanted to know about F&I.
Touch on the F&I regulations?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, briefly. So again, as the news media is covering, many of these products, whether they're warranty products, whether they are gap products, whether they're products that are by and large not a tangible item, they are becoming more and more open to federal regulations in terms of management. So where do these products reside? How are they paid for? What's the overall process that these products are offered? And so state by state, by even the federal side of things, they're looking into how are these products regulated, and from a consumer standpoint, are these products that are adding benefit? So more and more, those products that are going to be looked at more and more. That's not to say that they're bad or good or anything. You're just going to have a little bit more regulation on those products as we move forward. Many OEMs offer a extended warranty product. Lots of companies offer the extended warranty product. And they have a place, they have a value, and all of that is good. It's just a matter of when you start to regulate those kinds of things, that's going to ultimately probably drive up the cost, drive down the profitability of those products. So again, dealerships today enjoy a very lucrative profit center in their business office. And just feeding off of what the media is telling us at this point in time, those products that dealerships sell in those situations are coming under higher scrutiny. So when that happens, costs will go up, margins will go down, and that will cause the dealership to look in other places to replace that margin. So there's my quick little regulation.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Mike, for the great question. Okay, last one. Dino, I'm so glad you were able to make it on. I know Dino had written to me earlier today. Last question comes to you from Dino. He says, how important is a reliable restyler to the success of an accessory sales?
Well, awesome. Thank you. Great question, Dino. And the restyling industry out there is a very healthy and very worthwhile part of the offering of vehicle personalization. The restylers are those quiet guys that come and do the leather day in and day out. They do sunroofs. They do great installations of electronics. So having a good partner in your marketplace for those products is invaluable to a store. And the challenge for car dealers is, as a management group, when you're really expanding vehicle personalization, is how do you bring in those folks in terms of the restylers and get them to play nice with your fixed operations group. That's a place where Insignia likes to try to help there and bring all parties together. So there are many, many solid companies out there that are really good businesses that support dealerships on a day-by-day, car-by-car basis, and the services they provide are very valuable and help build those CSI. I mean, when you can have a car that the customer really likes, they like all the options, they like the color, the price is right, but it just has cloth seats, or maybe they'd like to have heated seats and leather, you can turn that customer into a car buyer by helping them see, well, look, Mr. Customer, in this Camry and this Accord and this Malibu, I can put leather seats in this car and it'd be at this price, as opposed to maybe stepping up to another trim level that is at this price. So you can, and had an example of this not too long ago, where an accessory manager at a Ford store took a customer on a 350 F-150, 350, the dually, the big guy, and by putting leather seats in, by putting a remote start in, and then doing all of the exterior trim things that he wanted, assist steps, headliner, all that kind of stuff, he was able to make a car sale right there on the spot, as opposed to selling a competitive truck across town that was at a higher trim level. So that accessory manager actually helped close that deal and create a car sale because he worked so well with a restyler in his market to be able to offer leather. And that was, from what the accessory manager told me, that was the clincher. Was the guy really wanted leather, so he was looking at the competitive truck across town, and he went with this truck because he could get leather in it. So it's a big benefit to having a good restyler work with you.
I love it. I agree, too. Okay, David, thank you so much. That was such a cool presentation. I learned a lot on this one. I really appreciate your time with us today.
Can I turn my web camera off now?
Yes, you can turn it off now. Of course, we're way past the top of the hour. Any questions that weren't answered, we're going to be answering by email later today. I want to remind the audience that, yes, we are going to be sending you a link to download a copy of this webinar recording. It's going to be emailed to you later today. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to dealeron.com/webinars, and there you can view our upcoming webinar schedule, or you can access any of our past webinars too. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar in just another minute, you're going to receive a short survey. Please fill it out. We're always looking for great feedback from you, our valued audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to win some Google prizes. And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next webinar, where industry veteran Charlie Vogelheim is going to dissect the Internet third parties, and vendors. Now, whether you know this or not, 20 years ago, the Internet was born, and almost immediately it was implemented by the auto industry. The World Wide Web was promised as a great marketing tool for dealers that could easily save money and increase sales. However, 2 decades later, dealers are still grappling with their Internet footprint, struggling with ineffective online digital marketing, and experiencing inconsistent online sales. So how is it, after all these years, we still haven't figured out the Internet? Well, one of the industry's most visible and outspoken personalities has had enough, and guess what? He's going maverick. Charlie Vogelheim of Kelley Blue Book and J.D. Power fame is going to share his refreshingly honest and sometimes scathing opinions on everything having to do with the Internet, past, present, and future, third parties, and vendors. Attendees of this electrifying one-hour webinar are going to hear his keen observations on the development of the Internet and all facets of digital marketing as it relates to the auto industry. What's worked, what has not, and where dealers should focus their attention for increased success and sustained profitability. In the process, he's going to cover most online issues troubling dealers, and as a bonus, Charlie is also going to discuss vendor shenanigans and how to avoid costly missteps. You're not going to want to miss this one. It's one of our industry's most knowledgeable thought leaders as he dissects the Internet, third parties, and vendors. This is a must-see presentation. Don't forget, Dealeron's weekly webinars are held Thursdays, 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. My name is Eliana Raggio. I'd love to hear from you. So if you have anything to tell me about these webinars and our topics, hey, please contact me. Track me down online. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and all of the automotive social networks. Or you can email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in Dealeron's continuing education series. Take care.